Hello, welcome to the lesson on what is an angle. This is Mr. C. It's pretty straightforward. An angle is just made up by two rays that share a common endpoint. If you had a ray, let's call this ray A, B. You had a secondary ray that started with the same point A, same endpoint A, and goes through maybe another point. We'll call it C. Then you have an angle. It's formed by these two rays with a common endpoint. This endpoint has a name. We'll call that a vertex. The two rays AB and ray AC that form an angle can be called sides. And the notation would be something like this. You might call this either angle BAC, that's going around in order from one point to the next around the angle, or you could call this angle CAB. That would be starting at the bottom and going around. Now, since this is a standalone angle, another way to label this angle in this picture or this diagram would be just angle A. In other words, you can give it the name of just its vertex alone. When the drawing becomes more complex, you want to avoid that. Let me give you an example of that. If you had a picture where you had multiple angles touching one another, in this picture, I'll label the vertex A. This first ray will be ray AB, then ray AC, then ray AD. If you were to write angle A in this particular diagram, it wouldn't be clear what you were talking about. It might be that you're talking about the angle that goes from the outside two rays of AB to AD. That's the largest angle that we might see there. Maybe perhaps you're talking about this angle just BAC. And so when you have a complex picture, you want to avoid that kind of notation. That way it can be clear whether you're referring to angle BAC in this particular drawing right there. Perhaps you might be talking about this larger angle below. That would be angle CAD or DAC, or the overall angle, which I'm going to label as BAD. Very there. Good. I'm going to put two marks because it's different. BAD. Let's take a look at what we can do on GeoGebra. On GeoGebra, if you scroll down and get to the more tools, it's not the basic tools, way down here under lines, there is a choice called ray. So you can choose a point, a secondary point. If you will draw another ray beginning with point A, so you have to click on point A, and then out through that, you can see your angle form there. Now, when I go back to the move tool, remember, these are dynamic. So the way that I've constructed it, right, this angle will stay there. In a future lesson, we'll learn how to measure those and copy those.